How do I have to beg? Hey, we are live. What's going on, everybody? It's Brian from SeacoastBeverageLab.com, and this is episode number 112, again, of the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast. This time we're recording it on the 27th of May, 2015. Last week, Google decided to give us the old white glove slap. Don't record tonight, record another time. So I think it was like that's the second time in only 112 episodes, knock on wood, that Google has decided to take a crap on us. But it was it was an okay episode. It was me, Sean, and Ben Watts talking about stuff. So let's do it again. Even though instead of Ben Watts, we have back from Spain, Carla. But we're gonna get to her in a second. I will just introduce the beer I'm drinking. Thanks to my buddy Frosty DG on Twitter. I got the I Lucky from Business Brothers. I'm quite lucky to have it. It's very tasty. So I see ginger IPA, and I'm like, I think Ginger Ninja, or I think another. I think there's another one I've had before. Tastes completely different than those. It's fantastic. It's really good.
The Juju Ginger from
That's what it is.
Left Hand.
Left Hand. Yeah. So I think those two, and I'm like, I take it, taste a sip, and it tastes like, not that the other ones don't taste like actual ginger, but it tastes like, get in there, ginger.
Mm-hmm.
But enough about me. Carla, welcome back from Spain. What are you drinking? What's happening?
Hola. No.
Oh no, she changed.
My Spanish is terrible. That is the least part of. That's the last Spanish you're going to hear on there. I'm sorry to the nation of Spain for my terrible Spanish. No, I actually had a fantastic trip. I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit later. But I have this year. It looks suspiciously orange, and it's because it's the grapefruit version of Sculpin.
Oh yeah, nice.
Been drinking, and
I freaking love that beer.
Nice. They're good for a hot summer day. It worked.
Yeah. Speaking of a hot summer day, Shano.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Sean Jansen from TwoBearGuys.com, and I am currently heavy lifting, having a new Boulevard heavy lifting India Pale Ale in a can.
How is that?
It's nice and bitter, good grassy, like floral hop aroma. Pretty tasty.
Yeah, I was down in Amherst a couple weeks ago, and I saw it in. It was that. What else do they have in cans? Something else. Yeah, I mean, besides everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Of Boulevard, but it was.
I think it's a session IPA.
And I wanted to pick it up, but yeah, maybe I'll get it when I go down to Mass for this weekend for the fest. Are they in the They show up at the festival, Jeremy? Boulevard?
Let's see here.
Check here.
Boulevard, yes, Boulevard. They will be bringing a ginger lemon radler, a heavy lifting, a saison brett, a tank 7, and the calling.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, we'll get in there. Let's start because we're going to start with some ketchup and mustard. Am I right? We're going to start with some stuff of what Carla's been up to, and then we're going to get back into some American Craft Beer Fest discussion because even though we talked about it last week, again, not many people saw it live because of Google screwing it up, and we lost the recording 100%. But let's get into Carla because you had a heck of a week for work, but you got a chance to do some beer stuff over in Spain, I understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got sent to do a thing for work that involved going to a workshop put on by the European Space Agency, so that was cool. And then after that, I actually spent the weekend in Madrid, Spain, which is the capital of Spain, and I had done some research before I got there, and of course I was looking at beer in Spain, and people were telling me, oh no, Madrid's actually where it's at. There's a couple little breweries around. So I, of course, made myself a little plan and went around to all these wonderful breweries. The craft beer scene in Spain overall is very much like, I don't know, it's kind of like that generic international lager. Everybody has the big kind of macro beer. They call them industrial beers over there as opposed to macro beers. There's lagers everywhere. It's usually very warm in Spain, especially in the summer, so that kind of cold, obsessively cold beer is kind of all the rage, but recently, probably in the last 3 years, they're just starting to see a little boom and a demand for craft beers. I think also because people travel from different countries in Europe, they kind of want more than just that kind of ubiquitous lager beer. So I went to, and I will put it in the show notes. Fabrica Marveles is the best little brew pub that I went to.
Cool.
They're making everything from American style pale ales to a really good Hefeweizen to a saison, all in the same lineup. really awesome. And then I went to a couple of craft beer bars, and one of them, I'm sitting at the bar, and they have all these like bottles of Belgian beers, and kind of like the beers that people had collected that were really good on this side. And then to the left, they had like a cooler with bottles that you could buy, like to drink, and they had things like Cantillon and blah 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 in there. And I'm looking at it, and on the third shelf is Rising Tide, Zephyr, and Daymark.
Yo!
Next to it is Smutty Nose, Old Brown Dog.
What?
And below it is Green Flash. And I was like, that is amazing.
That's awesome. Wow.
I
They
took a
followed you
picture,
around.
and I tweeted it out, and Nate of Rising Tide said, "Oh yeah, we sent just a few cases up that way because we're going to visit there in a couple months, and we want to kind of
That's cool.
send some beer out." And I was like, "That is amazing." Now I did not order it because I wanted to leave it for the people who hadn't had it, but I
Nice,
thought
yeah.
that was insane. That of all of the American beers they had, which was probably maybe 10 total, that 2 of them were Rising Tide.
So crazy. It was following you everywhere.
Which is really, really cool. But the one thing I did want to mention that is kind of actually more topical to the U.S. is that in Spain, again, because it's hot a lot during the summer, they serve beer. They don't do it in pints usually.
Yeah.
They do it either in a half pint, a third pint, or what they call a canna, which is like almost like basically a 3 to 4 ounce tasting glass. And they do it because when you order a small beer and it's cold, you can drink that before it gets warm, get another small beer, and they're continuously cold. But what I loved is that meant that I could try like a decent-sized sample of any beer that I wanted, no matter what bar I was at. It didn't have to be at a brewery. It wasn't like a tasting. It was just like, oh, I'll have a half a pint. I'll have a half a pint. And I want more half pours in my life.
God bless.
So I am now like a half pour like evangelist. Like, this is the best thing ever. You need to just offer some kind of half pours because
Well, hell yeah.
it's so cool.
I mean, yeah, and my wife's a huge fan of ordering half pints, and I mean, more just for she wants less beer, but still, it's a great. I mean, and even though if they don't offer it, they might just still give it to you in half. So yeah, I mean, some places are
It's
adapting
just
around here.
ubiquitous. I could do it anywhere. I could say, I want a half pint, and they would give you a glass,
Yes.
half pint, and it was awesome. Or if you get a big one, you call I forget the word, but it's basically a jar. So they you can get the huge ones, you can get the teeny ones, but you had a choice basically how you wanted to order your beer, and I just thought that was really cool.
Cool. How's the food?
The food was delicious. Of course, they have the tapas culture going on. So instead of eating like these large, heavy meat meals that we do, you can go and order just a few. Like I had one that was like a seafood salad kind of thing. I had another that was just amazing little dishes, and they're so tasty. They hit the spot, and you can share them with a bunch of people, so it becomes a very social thing. And they're not expensive. That's the thing that we're doing wrong with tapas over here, is all the little like hip tapas places now here are very expensive. So this is just like, okay, yeah, let's just order a few things, and then we'll have a beer, and then we'll go to the next place, and it was really fun. I had a great time, and I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get lost. I didn't manage to do what I need to do. So.
Now you're back here safe, and you're in the. I mean, I don't know what was the temperature like over there.
It was actually unusually chilly for them, but it was like in the 60s, like most days is the
Nice.
high. 60s to 70s. It was supposed to be hotter. It was supposed to be basically the weather we've been getting in the past couple days here.
Cool.
But it was totally pleasant. It was great. I could walk around without a coat. It was a little breeze. It was nice.
Very cool. Oh man. Well, I want to give a quick shout out real quick while we, because I always forget to mention it. The chat. If you're watching this live, head on over to sblpodcast.com. That's sblpodcast.com. Sean's fielding some questions, and yeah. But any final thoughts on Spain? Do you want to go back?
Oh, I totally want to go back, and I want to go back to more of Europe. This was my first trip ever abroad, first stamp in my passport, and now I'm kind of addicted.
Nice.
I want to go explore more and do more and taste more, but I just got to say that the people there, all the people that I met at the bars, like I would go into a bar, people would hear me speak English, and they'd come over and they'd talk to me. I met a guy from Finland who was there for a math conference. I met a guy who schedules the Major League Baseball games in this country. Like, he's in charge of deciding who plays who when. Like,
Jesus.
It's just like, but people were just super friendly, really nice, and it was felt right at home, so it was great.
That's awesome. I say felt right at home. No way.
Yeah, no.
I thought you're from Mass. That's Sean and Mass holes.
Well, what I was surprised was that even though I didn't speak much Spanish and the people there didn't speak much English, I was still able to just, order it through the common language of beer and talk about it a little bit, so it's good.
Sweet.
And I'll send you some links. I've got some pictures that I put together in a little story and links to some of the breweries if anybody's interested.
Sweet. Yeah, let's do that up. And I definitely have a link that I wanted to post. It would be foolish to post a video for us to watch a video live because the dialogue's in all German. But if anyone is familiar with the Hitler dubbed videos, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like it could be with anything. I don't know what the last one what I can commit to. It's the same movie clip of Hitler complaining about something, but someone dubs it over in like American subtitles of like something that it's not really about. I found, I don't know, I think I can credit Ken Goyet, or God, it's Ken. Ken on Twitter. I was watching the tweets, and he tweeted a video of Hitler complaining about the lack of heady topper availability. My wife and I just watched it. I will post it in our personal chat so you guys can watch it later. It's because, again, if you're listening to it in the audio, you only hear German. It would be whatever. But it's someone made it this morning, and it's hilarious, and it makes so much sense. But it's just basically Hitler being, bitching about, there's no heady topper, there's no Hill Farmstead. It's awesome. But I'll post that to you guys, and I'll put it in the chat so long as Sean can pick up where he left off. We have some Sam Adams news before we get into the ACBF. Would you mind?
All right, sure.
Sweet.
So
as I find a Hitler video clip, could you go ahead and talk about Sam Adams? Wait, first of all, happy birthday to Jim Cook. Today's his birthday.
Oh, cool.
So, beep, boop, beep. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
So yes, it was announced at the beginning of the month, and kind of part one's already completed, where Sam Adams has, as we know, that they've released hundreds of beer styles every year, and I think last year that they did over 60 different beer releases just in 2014.
That's cool.
So they started a campaign around May 11th, which was dubbed Drinkers' Favorites, where they put up, I think it was 12 different beers. And as the drinkers, you're going to choose which beer that they're going to bring back from the vault. So the beers included Black and Brew Coffee Stout from 2011, Black Lager from 2004. I think 2004 was when these are the years that they started making it, but not the last time that they produced it.
Okay.
Blackberry Wit Beer 2008.
Oh, that was good. I liked that one.
Honey Porter 2002. Mighty Oak Ale 2011. I think that was in their like 500 milliliter bottles once when they did that one. Pale Ale 1999. Brown Ale 2005. The infamous Winter Seasonal Pack Specialty Cherry Lambic from 1990. East West Kolsch from 2011. Revolutionary Rye Ale 2010. I think that's when they did the throwback beers to celebrate some old style brews. Rustic Saison from 2011. Scotch Ale from 1995. Vienna Lager from 2002. A Weissbier from 2001. Golden Pilsner 1996. And a straight up Hefeweizen from 2003. So the voting lasted from May 11th through May 25th, and the first round is completed, and the top 4 have been selected. Have you guys seen what the top 4 are yet?
I have not.
You put them in the chat, so I would be cheating if I said.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe I have.
But going back to, did you say? I'm surprised. Was Chocolate Bach not on that list?
No, they still make Chocolate Bach.
Oh, they still do.
Okay.
For some reason.
Remember they put it in the variety packs. They no longer have it in like the 500 milliliter or 16.9 by itself.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it is. My question was, what's going to happen to these beers? But it says the 2 beers that get the most votes will be in a variety pack in January. All right. So these aren't beers that are coming out in full 6-packs.
No.
Okay. So what do you got for the 4? The top 4.
The top 4 are Black and Brew Coffee Stout.
Have you had that one? Have you?
I remember having it, and it was really good, and that's what I actually voted for.
Cool.
Black Lager, which was funny enough when I did a lot of the Sam Adams homebrew judging for the competitions, and everyone would take a beer from the variety pack. I was always using Black Lager as my calibration beer. And I was like, no, I want something that's like I'm not gonna go from like Black Lagers to like German alt beers.
Right, yeah.
for doing calibration, and then Hefeweizen. And rounding out the top 4 would be Scotch Ale.
I remember
1995.
I remember the Scotch Ale. I liked the Scotch Ale.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Sean, real quick, before I get into a quick rant?
Nope. I just want to say I think it's a pretty cool, fun drinking thing to do.
This is like the adult version of the Disney Vault. You know what I mean? This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like now we're going to bring back.
Then it just throws it back. Get out of here. my only rant is I want a full 6-pack of Old Fezziwig before I die. I will buy. I mean, for the past 5 winters, I've been buying just the mixes of them. Come on now. Even Rick Bruce knows that. I mean, what's that, petition.com? I think people would sign that. So. We're taking this one to the Congress.
Yeah.
Sean, not a big Fez fan?
No, I'm not a big fan of that winter pack. I do like the cranberry.
What's your favorite? Oh, cranberry in the winter? Yeah, cranberry's good.
Yeah, I like cranberry.
Cool. Okay.
A cherry lambic. If that got voted back in this mix, I was going to be really sad. I'm actually very happy that the coffee Black and Brew made it into the finals. So I think out of the final 4, I would pick that and traditional hef.
Yeah.
Let's see where I had that Black and Brewed. I'm going to look it up right now. Thanks to our buddy at Untapped.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it. I don't remember ever having a coffee beer from St. Adams.
Remember they did I think they did a campaign where it was People's Choice, and it was something versus something, and you could like go to the brewery or you could go to these different tasting events at different bars, and Black and Brew was one of them in the People's Choice.
Yes.
And I think it
That's what it was. Good call. Because I remember that they brought over the Gaslight that one time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I had it on January 12th or January 3rd of 2012. Thanks, Untapped.
See? People think we're weird for using Untapped, but now we can actually look up.
I gave it 3 stars.
Where were you when?
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars, but I would have given it a 3.25 had the quarter chat rating.
That's also in 2012 when your palate was different.
It's true. I hate it.
Think about your palate change. No, your palate changes. That sometimes that you go back and revisit it, and it gives you a whole different perspective. That's why when a lot of people say, "Oh, I've tried that and I didn't like it." Go back, a couple months later and try in a totally different environment, whether or not you.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's with eating, without eating. Change up for what you did last time.
Which is why beer fests are not necessarily the best place to try the beers you like, because after a couple, your palate could be completely not what it should be for the beer you want to try, which could be a good segue to a conversation on ACBF.
Let's do it.
Oh, nice. I guess get on that.
Somebody hands you like that double extra extreme IPA when you ask them for their lighter beer, and then your palate's wrecked for the entire event. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm already going to say it now. Don't say what's your favorite. Don't say gimme, gimme, gimme. Don't say what you got.
What's your favorite?
Give me a favorite. Give me your highest alcohol beer.
Yeah.
And actually, the number one no is do not reach over and think that you could pour your own sample.
People do that.
It's happened.
Even just like the invading of the personal space, like the jockey box is there. Use it as a table.
You don't reach across and scan your own groceries.
Put it up there and be like, hey, what do you got?
Well, actually, you do now.
Well, okay, but not while there's an actual cashier there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
So what we were trying to talk about, and again, if you're in the chat, give us a shout out. What would you vote for? We got Craig Hendry and Aaron in the chat. Give us a quick hey-o, see what we got going on. But we were talking about last week, but now it's more effective this week because this Friday and Saturday is the. I'm trying to figure out what year is it. It never says.
8th annual.
Is it? Oh, that's it. Okay, so yeah, it's the 8th annual American Craft Beer Fest, which is basically the East Coast version of the GABF, but all pretty much, not really all East Coast because there's plenty to go around. But again, put on by Beer Advocate, 640 plus beers from 140 plus brewers, and yeah, you heard me right. There's 640 plus beers. So the strategy guide is up to you. There's no cheat sheet or crib notes. Just do what you do. But we here at the podcast, usually around fest time, given whatever fest it is, like to give our usual festival survival tips. But let's go through some of the stuff. I gave the list to you, Sean and Carla, to kind of pick maybe the two to three places that you would go or you would recommend to go that you may not have. Or you yourself would do. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carla or Sean, whichever one to start, and I'll go after.
I'll throw one out, and then maybe Sean will do one, and then we can come back.
Yeah, sure.
I've been talking about these guys a little bit this year, but they're small enough so that if people haven't come up to Maine, you wouldn't have had a chance to get their beer. I would say you got to go visit Barreled Souls Brewing Company. Is going to be pouring at this fest. Really good beer. They have a Goza that's awesome. So they're bringing that, they're pouring that. It's going to be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Barreled Souls.
Barreled Souls. Get in
They're
there.
bringing, I'm looking at this list, they're bringing, 10 beers. So I don't know which they're going to have on first, but go for the Goza. It's called Space Goza.
I'll toss in. I was there again with Ben Watts this past weekend up in Burlington, I believe they're out of Winooski. Is Four Quarters Brewing. Out of Winooski, Vermont, and if you look at their list, they're bringing a ton, and I imagine that list is for all weekend, and they might do scheduled, tappings of whatever they have, but fantastic brewery. They actually make great maple cream soda, which is my wife literally sent me up there for on this past Friday, and they weren't making it, so I couldn't make it home without telling her that, but yeah, no, great brewery, small. There's some ties back here. I believe the head brewer at Four Quarters was homebrewing buddies with Butch of Earth Eagle, so some nice ties that way. So check them out. Four Quarters. Shano, got a recommendation?
I'm going to say that typically I pick a style of beer that I like to kind of go after and sort of try that style beer as much as I can across the different breweries. And I'm kind of right now, with a couple days away, I'm leaning towards whether or not I'm going to go IPA direction or I'm going to go sour tart direction. Mm-hmm. So if I was going to go sour tart direction, I would definitely take a look at one of my all-time favorites that I always go after at the ACBF, which is the Anderson Valley Goes, which is the Kimmy, the Yink, and the Holy Goes is the name of it. And the way I go the reason why I go that direction, it's a big, powerful 4.2% ABV. So you know that if you're going with some of these sours, they're not going to be over the top crazy in your face. In addition to that, on the same sour route, I'm very keen with the brewery out of Vermont called Lost Nation, where Lost Nation also has a Goes called Goes.
Goes.
Goes. So that's one direction if I was going to be going. Just like the band, one direction if I was going to be going in the sour route.
Hey, Zane left. It's not One Direction anymore in my book. Carla, do you have one more, or because then I got one more also. And
before I get to my real one, I don't know if Norm's going to this, but Maui Brewing Company's coming, which I don't remember them being there before. And they have the coconut porter that is really, really good.
Yes. Oh my God.
You can't buy over here, so I'm kind of excited. That would be cool.
That's madness.
But for me, if you just got me thinking about the sour stuff. I always make a beeline for Night Shift when they're at these fests because they have things like Everweiss, and it is really flippin' good. And I can never get it because we only get their kind of flagship stuff. So that's a Berliner Weiss. They have another one called Diagonal, which I'm not familiar with. And then they also have one of the ones that they made with the habaneros in it. So really interesting stuff over at Night Shift's tent or whatever. Stay.
Oh, yeah, and it's a good that's a good spot to visit because it's. I'm sure people have had maybe more from Whirlpool from them or even nothing, but I bet that's going to be a pretty busy line, which we'll get to in a second. But I'll toss out two from Western Mass that should be noted. Is Iron Duke Brewing out of Ludlow, Mass, and Abandoned Building at East Hampton, Mass. Super, super good breweries. Both celebrating they're not even a year old, kicking ass in Western Mass. That rhymed. I'm gonna go trademark that real quick. But yeah, no, they awesome beers. Tell them the Bev Lab sent you because they are fantastic. Sean, do you have one more you want to give out?
Well, I wanted to mention sort of we mentioned we'll just bring up the discussion we mentioned last week that was not recorded.
I feel like I have to apologize, but
we actually were discussing that there's two breweries that I saw on the list last week that kind of caught my eye, and I go, wow, I haven't had anything about them. We've talked about them for quite some time. Are they going to impress me, or am I just going to go home saying, okay, they are what they are? And so the first one is Medusa.
Okay, yeah.
And as we mentioned, Medusa was the first brewery that we had on the show that had not actually operated as a brewery yet. So I have never tried any of their beers, and so I'm very intrigued about trying their beers.
Yeah.
And then the other one is actually Lord Hobo Brewing Company, which is opening up in Woburn, Mass, which is in the same ownership as Lord Hobo in Boston or Cambridge. So I'm very intrigued to try their beers. Don't be surprised. Lord Hobo's beers, they have 5 of them. 4 of them are American IPAs, and 1 is an American double IPA.
Wow.
And Medusa has 5 beers also, where it's kind of a little bit more spread across English Porter, Triple, American Pale Ale, American IPA, and American Double IPA.
I can vouch for one of the IPAs, which isn't on the list. I don't think from Medusa. I had them at oh boy, what's the place in Worcester? Why do I forget that now?
Ormsby Abbey.
Ormsby Abbey, thank you. But yeah, they had them there, and it was tasty. But yeah, you're right. It's very interesting because first brewery and only on the podcast to not have an operational brewery.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Come on, yeah. We were scrounging for guests that week. No, I'm kidding. But
no, we weren't.
But
there was a good reason of having them on the show.
Totally. For sure. Definitely. Yeah, and if you look at the photos of the brewery,
never tried it. So.
Yeah. If you look at the photos of the brewery, I mean, get in there. Ooh, what do you got there?
This is a Copperhead Ale by Fordham in Virginia.
Oh, wow. Nice. There you go. Good stuff. Coming in copper.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm sure we'll listen to it later.
And so we'll do. So speaking of which, of new breweries that are coming, there's also some that were new last year. Well, not necessarily. I think maybe new to the fest last year that aren't coming, but they had the 2 biggest lines. The 2 biggest the 2 of the 3 biggest lines last year were 2 of the 3, Trillium and Treehouse, double T's. That's why they put them at the opposite ends of the. If anyone was there, they put them at the opposite ends of the fest because they were the longest lines. And this year, no dice, not showing up. Neither Trillium nor Treehouse. And so I tweeted out to Beer Advocate and Treehouse to see what was going on. I was lucky enough to go with Rick Bruce to Treehouse 2 weeks ago, and Jay from Treehouse was saying they had to pull out of that festival so they can kind of they open up their new space. They want to keep up on production keep the local accounts happy and the people that come there happy because they didn't want to turn people away that came all the way to Munson for beer, which I totally buy. It makes sense. and I believe Trillium.
I mean, if you're going to go into months, then you better have some beer at the brewery.
Totally.
Yeah.
and then I believe Trillium didn't respond, but I believe it was Beer Advocate responded on their behalf and said it was the same issue. Their new space, they're trying to get up and running with their own stuff. So, and if you're gonna have a Trillium, it very well might be on tap elsewhere in Boston while you're there for the weekend.
That's true, right? It's not like this is the only time people in the area would ever be able to try your beer.
Yeah, I think we've come to that time where breweries are expanding, and they might be at other festivals, which is fine. It just seems that now this leaves room for the big question, the elephant in the room. I mean, I know Lawson's is going to be there, and that's usually kind of a giveaway that's going to be one of the longest lines. But what if you guys can scroll through this list of 150 breweries really quick and kind of pick a couple that you might think will have like at least some substantial lines. I think Carly, you might have mentioned one already, but Sean, do you have any?
I agree with Carla's.
Yeah, Night Shift.
Night Shift will be.
Which to me, and it's tough because American Craft Beer Fest is obviously a Boston-based event. A lot of people from Boston are going. I would hope that. This is no offense to Night Shift, but it's my hope that other people try other breweries that aren't available in the state.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from a place that doesn't get it, New Hampshire, Maine, anywhere else but Mass, like get into Night Shift, get there. But
yeah.
Go out of your comfort zone because if you can, sure, go buy a couple of your standbys, but.
That's my favorite thing to do at these fests is I love going through the list and going, what have I never heard of or haven't had or have no idea who these people are?
Yeah,
right. Because, I could spend time waiting in the really long line for the popular guy, or I could have already hit up 3 different smaller breweries that are maybe new or that I don't know. And, it's a little bit of roulette, right? Some of them are awesome and some of them are not. But I always have fun with the adventure of, I've never had anything from, from Mars Community Brewing. I've never had anything from, just scrolling down here.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fun to.
Yeah, and it's not to say that local. It's not to say that local breweries shouldn't have the longest lines. I mean, I think Jack's Abbey might have a pretty substantial line, just because like you hear news about them expanding.
I'm going to throw this out there and this is going to be a very bold statement that Stoneface may be the first one to kick a keg.
God, that'd be awesome. I'll stand on that keg and scream.
I think that's going to be a pretty long line. I think a lot of people have heard of the name, especially outside of the New Hampshire market. Not necessarily a lot of people have been able to try it. I think that will be a long line. We've talked about this other brewery in the past that their distance so far up into New Hampshire makes it a little bit challenging for people to make it to Schilling Beer Company. I think that will be a pretty long line. And one of my favorite breweries from Ohio, which is to have a favorite brewery from Ohio is pretty crazy, but I actually think that that Rheingeist coming back for I think maybe the 2nd or 3rd year, people are starting to recognize that they're a powerhouse in the central United States, and I think they're going to be a happy surprise to many people at the fest.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, and I think, you know what? Sure, there might be one long line, but having this many breweries and not 2 that are like big, or have extreme like crazy sought after beers. They all might, but I'm saying this might give a good chance to like spread it out, and it could be a very nice fest for everybody if everyone just spreads it out.
Yeah.
And that's how it works too. As I was saying, we'll get into the tips now. Is if you have a lot that you want to go to, get a sample and then go to the next line. If you see a long line, stand in it, review the program while you're in line with the beer. That's kind of keep things moving. But so that kind of gets into the tips. I think one of my biggest tips, I can get into safety later, but one of my biggest tips is for Untapped. You're going to be in like a conference room that's probably shitty cell service.
Don't even
I would say pen and paper and then Untapped like tomorrow. No one's going to yell at you for untapping a day later if you want to. But that's one of my tips.
I completely agree with that because you'll use more battery and stress trying than you will just tick it off on the list or just jot yourself a note if you really care that much. But put the phone down. Enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
Hey,
Talk.
but check in the first one. You know, you can Instagram a couple here and there, but yeah, but the check and stew, because then you might be doing it, and you might get to the line and not know you're at the front. You're like, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
put this little gal away. And Sean, what do you got?
You're not going to be able to try all the different beers that you want to try. Take your time. Enjoy the beer while you have it, and don't try to rush through and try to go faster than what you can actually do.
Cool. Yeah, and I was just use the dump buckets, use the water.
My is kind of like that, only it's you don't have to finish every single sample. If you get a beer and it wasn't what you expected, or if it's not the style that you're into, or you go, like, it's okay. Like, don't force yourself to drink it. Just move on to the next one.
Yes.
Like, I learned that at a beer bloggers conference several years ago. You don't have to all the samples. There's not going to be any sample police yelling at you for not drinking it.
Awesome. And but yeah, to that effect, we were going back to it. Don't be an idiot. And there's definitely a lot of security there. There's 5,000 people per festival. I think the nice thing you can do is thank people that are giving you the beer.
Yep.
Don't necessarily chat forever with them. Show your appreciation, no doubt. But maybe get like a contact card, because I'm sure they'll have cards out and you can send your appreciations later. But but then again, on the other hand, there's going to be some brewers there that want to chat your ear off forever, and you might just want to like let people behind you get a beer. So be mindful. But yeah, and for this fest particularly, I mean for all fests if you can, but for this one, get there super early, because as I said before, is 5,000 people per session that are going. Saturday, both sessions are sold out, and Friday, I believe, there's like 900 tickets left as of this recording. It's Wednesday. But yeah, get there early, because I don't believe Sean, do you know if they open the doors prior to the session to let people like walk in? No.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I think
what they do is they corral you all the way around the building.
Ugh.
They do check your IDs, give you wristbands, scan your tickets, and that type of stuff, so you can just walk in.
That's true, yeah.
Or at least they do maybe not scan your tickets, but they do most of the other stuff. So.
And then, most importantly, since you're going to be in not necessarily it's not the worst part of Boston, but it's not center of Boston. Use Uber, taxi. It's easy as hell. The Silver Line gets you to the seaport just fine. Silver to Blue, I believe it's Blue Line. I don't know. You can find on the T, but you can take T's in there. Get in there.
There was just a couple interesting things from the chat.
Yeah, what do you got?
Just going back, I think Aaron voted for the Scotch Ale. Just going back a little story before that.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, I'm not sure exactly who it is, but they say that they met me last year at the ACBF in a line of beer. And their brewery, Aaron's brewery recommendation is Other Half Brewing Company from Brooklyn, New York.
Ooh.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting beers come out of New York too, so that'd be one to check out. And the list is all there. It's on Beer Advocate. What I did was I copied, and I think Carla may appreciate this. I copied all this into a Google spreadsheet, and I put separate checkboxes for myself and my wife, and we kind of went down the list and was like, what do you want, and then not necessarily go by those rules, but kind of see where both of our heads are at, and so that's.
I just copied it all into a spreadsheet to find out the most common styles.
What do you got?
American IPA, 114 different ones pouring. Then Imperial IPA, 56, followed by Saison Farmhouse, 43. American Pale Ale, 31, and then, surprisingly, American Porter, 23 different American Porters. And then we got Red Ale, Wit Beer, Fruit/Vegetable Beer, because it's summer, it's probably everything that you could possibly put into fruit.
Right.
And then Pale Wheat Ale, Wild Ales, Rye Beers, Belgian Pale Ales, and Triples. So that rounds out the top, 12 or so. American IPA doesn't surprise me, but the fact that there are 23 different porters does.
What's the one when you go down to the bottom of the list? There's a least of that style.
Okay, so the least of the
Zero.
style is.
No, I mean like if there's a one or two.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Yeah. Okay, so there's only one of each of these particular styles. Ready?
Let's go get them.
I'm gonna rattle it off.
Yeah.
Alt beer,
Tuckerman's.
American Adjunct Lager. That's Narragansett.
Okay.
American Black Ale. American Malt Liquor. Braggot. A California Common. Chili beer, which should probably actually be categorized with the fruit beer, but who's counting? English barley wine. English bitter. English stout. Euro pale lager. Irish dry stout, Irish red ale, milk stout, Munich Dunkel lager, and a Roggen beer. And I have no idea what Roggen beer. R-O-G-G-E-N-B-I-E-R.
Who does that?
That's got to be Schilling.
Let's see. F Roggen.
Because there's a Roggen beer at Earth Eagle, but they're not going to be there.
It's okay. That is
Yeah, you're right, Sean. That'd be a good guess.
Roggen beer. There.
Roggen, don't even know her. No, it's not.
It's not?
It's
Nice. It's Nice.
Okay, hold on. That might be my guys.
Yeah, it's Nice Brewing.
Yeah, it's Nice Brewing.
Oh, sorry. Nice.
Nice.
What starts with a G?
Yeah. Damn it.
Cool.
Well, that's it. I mean, geez, and I hope this recorded because I'll be pissed if we'll be back Friday night Sean and I will be there doing it live for the goddamn.
The medieval ale made from a grain bill of about half barley malt and equal portions of wheat and rye malt. Says the Google.
Jay, get in there for some nights too. I think Vermont and Maine are gonna have some stellar sessions.
Yeah.
Pretty light showings from New Hampshire, but solid showings nonetheless. Don't kid yourself. I think that might do it. Sean, you gonna be there for all three?
I will be there for all three.
Get in there, man. I'll be there for this. Well, they called the second session. I called the first session on Saturday. I will be there with the wife, so don't bug her or me. No kidding. Come say hi if you see us. Carla, you making it down?
Nope, I'm not coming down at all.
You're doing something in otherwise, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to continue on my little quest to go to multiple breweries. I haven't figured out. This trip to Spain kind of consumed my thinking for the last month, and now I'm like, oh yeah, now I have a weekend free. ACBF is a little too big for me. It's on the size of the fest that starts to make me go, I get exhausted by the end of it. So I don't typically go. I've gone a few times, but it's not really my size. I like the smaller ones.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Sean, are you drinking that now?
No, this is yours.
Oh,
just next to me again.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Carla, I actually found a beer called Hop Suplex Ale, where it's a wrestler with another wrestler jumping off the top rope.
That's great.
Yeah, this is for Brian.
It's awesome. Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, again, you can find a couple of us this weekend. Who knows if Norm's going? Norm's off the grid for all I'm concerned.
Norm will be there.
That's slimy son of a... Yeah, he should be there. He should.
Ask him why he's not on the show anymore.
No, fuck. Oh, yeah. I thought you knew the answer for some reason. So did I, but we have no idea. All right. Well, I'm sweating like Sean in church, so this might have to do it for the podcast. Anything you guys want to shout out real quick before we shut her down, Carla? You have any final?
We're having for those of you guys fans of Jolly Pumpkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jolly Pumpkin's doing a bunch of events coming up in the next week or so out and around Portland. And I have a feeling there are probably some in other places too. But I'm pretty kind of excited about it. They're going to do like the tap takeover this Friday at Paiman Miyake.
Ooh.
Terrible. I'm busy.
Man.
Which is like, oh. And then this whole weekend they're doing Sour Saturday, Sunday at Paiman Miyake. So basically they're going to have sour beers on. So I'm like, yay!
Love freaking Paiman. Get in there.
And then Beer Cellar is going to do a tasting of Jolly Pumpkin stuff, I believe, on June 9th. But don't quote me, I might be wrong on that. But it's that.
I love their winter seasonal beer called Cabeza de Noel.
Yes.
Nice sour beer. A little Spanish action going in there.
There's a particular one that they're releasing, that they're gonna have at Novare Res. I added it. Where did it go?
A little Spanish action, he says. It's good stuff.
La Roja du Creek. Being released at Novare Res on Friday.
If you happen to see any of these beers in package around special
Yeah.
Remember, you have friends down south.
Okay. I
Yeah,
will.
Norm.
I'll
Oh,
let
you got
know.
you.
I get paid up
I would.
so.
Brian, I would like to mention, as of last week, there is a new brewery that's hit New Hampshire in full stride. Finally, 21st Amendment is now available across all
Hey.
boroughs and states, towns
Nice.
within the state of New Hampshire.
It's just, every time I hear a brewery that's been around for a while, I'm like, come on, New Hampshire, get going, and good stuff. That's good news. That's good news for the state.
Great news for the state.
God. I mean, New Hampshire's still a state. Everybody, come on, get us some beer. I'm super impressed. I keep going to my local right up the street, and I'm seeing a lot of new beers from everywhere. But I didn't see that up there, but I saw that Newburyport is canning their Melt Away Session
Yep.
IPA. Big fan right here.
I finally got Left of the Dial up here from Notch.
Oh God! See,
Whoa.
Yep.
come on, Notch, get to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fine. I'll go to a Carl's Meat Market. I'll go to Merrimack and Matt. I mean, either way, I'm like 20 minutes away from Massachusetts beer, whether it's going to Massachusetts or another state.
Well, think about it. New Hampshire is one of the few New England states where he doesn't brew in.
That's true. Good call. So do you have anything else, Sean O'Boy, that you want to give a shot?
Not too pressing. Nope.
Okay. I'll only give one because it just came to my head that this Sunday, if you guys are looking for something to do in New Hampshire, the the Granite State Growler Tour is doing a tour of, I believe it's 4 places. So you're going to stop at Whim. You're going to stop at oh my God, of course I forget what it's called. The
Quartz?
No, the distillery.
Smoky Quartz?
No, the other one.
Seabrook. Not Seabrook?
That one. Not Seabrook. Oh my God, it's Sea something.
Seahag.
Seahag, yes. You gotta go to Whim, you gotta go to Seahag, Throwback, and Earth Eagle with the 2 Girls, 1 Beer combo who wrote the book Rhode Island Beer. So if you guys want, check out tickets is nhbeerbus.com, I believe, or .org. But yes,
.com, yeah.
.com. So check it out. It's on Sunday, and they're going to be selling books, signing books, and taking you guys on a tour. It's a good time. Mike and I did it, and when Dave isn't running the tour, he's riding with the tour, and he loves it. So it should be a good time. Give it a shout out. But until then, lovely beer drinkers and fest goers, enjoy your time this weekend, whatever it is you're doing. And Sean and Carla, as always, I appreciate you guys keeping the podcast afloat. Cheers. See you next week. Bye.